What's up, guys? Samoan Fan 101 here, and this is my Raw review. Now, this is not from last week's Raw. When it comes to last week's episodes, I'm only going to cover the quintessentials. I'm gonna try not to talk as loud this time because it's late at night. Everyone's probably asleep except for maybe one person, myself, and maybe my brother-in-law. So let's try to. So I'm gonna try to keep it down, but I will be talking to the point where you know what I'm saying. You didn't miss much from last week's Raw, aside from. Oh, hold on a second. Let's check. Yeah. So looking at the list, you didn't miss much from last week's Raw. I will, however, be going to get into the Dudley Boys retirement. There's only two things that happened on last week's Raw that's really worth mentioning, which is Finn Balor's um, having to acquiesce the Universal Championship and the Dudley Boys retirement segment. Just quickly go over things here. Oh yeah, and also Bayley's debut on Raw. So basically, just out of the way before we get to the actual this week's Raw review. Bayley debuted on Raw, challenged Charlotte for the Women's Championship. Charlotte doesn't think she's worthy, even though there's pretty much nobody else on that Raw roster that is worth challenging for the title. She faced Dana Brooke. It was a match. Dana Brooke sucks. She's a train wreck every time she gets into the ring. Put her back to NXT for the love of God. Balor actually had a pretty good promo here at the very beginning, having to relinquish the Universal Championship because, of course, I explained at SummerSlam he tore his labrum. That's going to be putting him out of action for at least 6 months. And with that said, he had to, who knows what SummerSlam's gonna be, what WrestleMania 33 is gonna be like. Let me just say it right now. That's being optimistic that he's gonna be back in 6 months. He may be gone for longer. Remember, Hideo Itami was supposed to be gone for 6 months. He ended up being gone for over a year. That sucks for Itami. But yeah, so just brief. So there's that. There was a bunch of qualifying matches to determine who would be in a fatal four-way elimination match tonight, earlier tonight, to see who would be the Universal Champion. Rollins beat Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens beat Kevin Owens beat Neville. Roman Reigns beat Jericho, and Big Cass, who was the surprise entry, defeated Rusev. What was I saying? You defeated Rusev by countout. Sorry, it's late at night, so forgive me if I'm a little bit loopy. I don't drink, by the way. Another quick, oversight. The Cruiserweight division will officially return September 19th. So that's 3 weeks away. As of tonight. Of course, I went over that. The last thing really I gotta mention this. Braun Strowman beat Johnny Knockout, who's actually an indie wrestler, in another jobber match. And Byron Saxton said, "Why would you want to face Braun Strowman?" And he said, and I quote, "Because I like big, sweaty men." Look, I know this is the LGBT, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, the LGBT, but oh my god. I just
laughed my fucking ass off when I heard that. Oh god.
Okay, so last thing to talk about from last week was the Dudley Boys' retirement. The big swerve is that this was their actual retirement. Apparently, obviously, you could tell they were building up a Bubba Ray heel turn, so that he would turn on Devon and you could have a run as a singles competitor, as a singles heel run. What happened though was, sadly, what ended up happening, and there was a verbal agreement that the Dudleys would stay around longer. And when I hear that, I'm like, verbal agreement, I'm on the edge. One or the other side can give at any time. Because the same thing happened with Jeff Hardy back in 2009. The initial plan was for Jeff Hardy to come back in time for WrestleMania 26 and to face CM Punk and beat CM Punk after all the shit that Punk said about Jeff Hardy after he retired him from SmackDown. Or not retired him, but like kicked him out of SmackDown, kicked him out of WWE, leaves WWE. And oh god, you know, I cannot believe that WWE decided not to pursue a Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray Dudley heel run because they're on Raw. Bubba Ray on Raw as a heel would do good things. He could be, if not the top, he could be a good mid-card heel, then later a top heel. Okay, my legs on the bed. I gotta stop shaking the camera. But he could be a good heel on Raw. I mean, they need stars. I mean, let's look who's at the top right now. You got, I mean, at the top, like in world title contention at this moment in time, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. I'll get to him later. Maybe Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, and that's about it. 5 guys, and one of them is going to be gone in the next couple of months because he's going on tour with Fozzy. 4 guys. It's not a lot of time, guys. So a Bubba Ray heel run could have done wonders. It could have given a little bit more depth to the roster. Or, I'll do you one better. Bubba Ray as a heel on SmackDown. I would have paid good money to see that. But no. Instead, they decided to actually go a bit of retirement, which, considering how the segment went, I can understand why people thought, they weren't really retired. So they had a pretty good speech. The Shining Stars came out, Primo and Epico, and decided to mock the Dudley Boys. They soundly got their asses handed to them. Then Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the club, came out and kicked the Dudley Boys' ass in an effort to put the club over, which they sorely needed because the club they've been not doing the club any favors. In New Japan, they were the biggest, baddest team. In WWE, they got to show more personality, but they're being treated like job guys half the time. Carl Anderson, whenever the club loses, Carl Anderson is always the one to take the fall. What the fuck? Serious, guys, what the fuck? But the Dudley Boys did what the Dudley Boys did? The Dudley Boys turned face in one segment, kicked the Shining Stars' asses, which I popped big for, and got their asses kicked by the club, which I also popped big for. Now, when I originally saw this segment, what I was expecting was, okay, Dudley Boys is going to come back, going to have a match at the next Raw pay-per-view, and the next couple months, Bubba Ray's turning heel, and that's what's going to happen. They didn't do that because they're not retired, like actually retired, but they did leave WWE. That is legit. So and I would not be surprised if they went back to TNA. TNA sorely needs tag teams, but I don't think they're going back to TNA. Ring of Honor, probably not. New Japan, maybe. I think they would do Lucha Underground a world of good. Now that I think about it, Lucha Underground, that could work because Bubba Ray and Devon, they're always putting people through tables. They can be pretty violent. That would actually be pretty awesome. They were a part of the original ECW. You never know. Now that's pretty much it from Raw last week. Raw this week. I think came from Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. They still have the Raw set from last week, which was turned the set for SummerSlam, which I think is going to be the set going forward for Raw. Because it looks like the same goddamn set. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Rusev, not Rusev. Rollins, Owens, Reigns, and Big Cass came out for an interview promo style segment with Corey Graves at the helm of it. They both, said their pieces. Rollins shot off on everyone, and correctly stated that if it wasn't for him injuring Balor, they would not be in that segment at all. There would be no point. Kevin Owens, though, he was the man in this segment. He said it's an honor to be in the ring with all of you guys, and you could tell by the way he said it that he was full of shit. But I love full of shit Kevin Owens. That's the full of shit Kevin Owens and kick-ass Kevin Owens is the best Kevin Owens. It was a pretty good opening segment. Did not drag. I loved it when Reigns and Rollins, said crap about Reigns, saying that the three the facts of life, death, taxes, and Rollins beats Reigns all the time. Reigns got up. He looked like he was gonna start. Maybe he was gonna say something on the mic, but instead he dropped the mic and punched Kevin Owens right in the face. Like I said in my SummerSlam review, kick-ass Roman Reigns is the best Roman Reigns. Nothing more to be said there. That was pretty much it, and everything fizzled down to a brawl after that. Nia Jax defeated what was her name? Oh yeah, dumbass. I'm skipping a shit here. Y2J, Chris Jericho beat Neville in a good 10-minute match. I thought this was a good match. Some other people might, disagree, but I thought this was a pretty good match. The 10 minutes that they got, it was nice, it was subtle, it built through a small story. Because remember, last week when Owens beat Neville to be in the Fatal 4-Way elimination match for the Universal title, Chris Jericho came out and distracted Neville. So, I was expecting this match to be safe for their next pay-per-view, Clash of Champions. But I'd guess they're going to build towards Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. That's my guess. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. My only complaint was that Neville lost clean. But unless they're building towards, if they're building towards Owens and Jericho at the pay-per-view, I'm fine. If not, they should have just saved Jericho and Neville for the pay-per-view. New Day had a backstage segment with Bayley, and Bayley was gonna go, and Bayley had a lot of fun then. Bayley was trying to do the way Xavier does it, the WWE World Tag Team Champions. I don't think anybody does it better than Xavier was. Bayley gave a shot here, and it's like Bayley with gyrations. Now, if she was in my bed doing gyrations, I would love that. Although it was still sexy on its own right. Then Dana Brooke came in, started talking shit to Bayley, saying that she doesn't deserve a title shot, despite the fact she's the only other woman on the roster deserving of so. Summer Rae? Fuck no. Alicia Fox? Hell no. They're both heel. That Raw woman's roster is heel crazy. There's only two faces on that roster, Bayley and Sasha Banks, and Banks is out with an injury, so it's Bayley. And of course they reminded her that Bayley beat Dana Brooke last week on Raw, which she did in her debut match. Nia Jax defeated a wrestler I never heard of called Hyan or Peon, and I looked at and she may be a Filipino wrestler. I don't know. I didn't care to look at her face. Nia Jax threw her around for a minute or two, then hit her with what looked like an attitude adjustment. I will say, if her and she's done several moves where it feels like a finisher. Um, there's of course the leg drop, which thank God she dropped. She once killed her opponent with a jackhammer, then with some kind of side slam, then now with this basically an attitude adjustment. I will say, if she wants to get booed, go with the attitude adjustment. Because people hate John Cena, especially on Raw. So go with that attitude adjustment. That'll do the job. That'll troll the fans. The club and Brooke had one of those little backstage vignettes that those ring postitis shit the club has been doing. Well, Dana Brooke is doing the same, and did the same with this, except they had a long word for it. Basically, they called the Dudley Boys old farts, and this was more tolerable than the ring postitis. But Dana Brooke as the doctor, I'm just like, the last thing the club needs to be associated with right now is Dana Brooke. Because Dana Brooke fucking sucks. The club needs to stay away from Dana Brooke. Carland, Doc Gallows, stay away from Dana Brooke. So this all built up to a 6-man mixed tag team match later in the night. It was the club and Dana Brooke against Bayley and Kofi Kingston and Big E. But not now. Next actually was Sami Zayn versus Jinder Mahal in a quick 3-minute bout. And of course in 3 minutes Sami Zayn soundly defeats Jinder Mahal. So, welcome back Jinder Mahal. God. When I heard that the WWE is bringing back stars from the past, I'm thinking, okay, bring back some guys that we all know. Carlito, Shelton Benjamin. They were bringing back Shelton, but then Shelton got hurt. I feel bad for Shelton on that end. Carlito, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Masters. Bring back some of those guys. Chris Masters, he grew. He shrank, because he was taking steroids early in his career, but he grew as an actual performer. He's actually gotten pretty good. So there's a guy you could have taken back. Bubba Ray's a heel. There's a guy who could have worked. But no, they're deciding that other than Rhino, they're bringing back Jinder Mahal, Kurt Hawkins, and Rhino, which I understand Rhino, but Jinder Mahal and Kurt Hawkins, and soon on SmackDown, the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher are going to be back. I can understand Mosh and Thrasher. They were part of the Attitude Era, but really, nobody gave a shit about Jinder Mahal. And unless you're going to put Kurt Hawkins in with Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley on SmackDown as like a 3-man group, don't do it. Now, admittedly, Kurt Hawkins is actually pretty good in the ring, but Kurt Hawkins is good in the ring, but the last time we saw Kurt Hawkins in WWE, he was in a tag team with Zack Ryder and Tyler Rex. And what happened after he teamed with Tyler Rex? Nothing. Lunacy. Sasha Banks was in like a little call by I guess what was the Raw panel or something like that. Not the announcing, but the panel. And Sasha basically said, she admonished Charlotte for taking her out and exposing her injury, her back injury. And Sasha says that when she comes back, she's going after the women's title. And Charlotte was on commentary to comment on the 6-man tag team match. New Day and Bayley defeated the club it was actually a decent match. Not a great match, or not even a good match, but like a decent, mediocre, nice match. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I get that Bayley has to probably win, and so does the club, but the New Day. But if the New Day's team wins, for the love of God, do not have Carl Anderson take the pin. Thankfully, that did not happen. Bayley pinned Dana Brooke second week in a row with the Bayley to belly suplex. And got the 1-2-3, and of course not stared down Charlotte, but Charlotte stared her down with this bitch heel look. I will admit, Charlotte as a complete in the bitch heel role is much better than the face role. I mean, she was good as a face on NXT, but that's because NXT liked her. WWE fans takes a little bit more than that. Cesaro was interviewed by Tom Phillips backstage, saying that he will twirl around Sheamus over and over and over and over again, and he even said that if you got a 2-on-0 advantage on Cesaro, Sheamus with Cesaro being in a lot of trouble, and Cesaro correctly stated that Sheamus having a 1-0 advantage on Cesaro was already a disadvantage. I will say, and apparently this Best of 7 series is leading to a title shot. But the problem is WWE has not stated which title. U.S. title? The Universal title? Tag team titles? We don't know. Just a title shot. We don't know. All I hope is that Cesaro wins. And speaking of Cesaro's match was next. He had a match against Sheamus, a good match here, which had a pretty good ending. Sheamus beat Cesaro second time in a row in the Best of 7, and he did this by obviously he landed more on his ass than on his lower back, but in the match, supposedly, Sheamus backdropped Cesaro onto the steel ring post, and then got the Texas Cloverleaf on him, and Cesaro immediately tapped out. I thought that was actually, sorry about that, I thought that was actually pretty damn clever, because I don't think I've ever seen a backdrop on the ring post before. We've seen backdrops on the floor, on the sides of the ring, on the outside of the ring apron, backdrops on the top rope, but backdrops on announce tables. We just saw a few months ago with Reigns and AJ Styles at Extreme Rules, but never on the ring post. I don't think I've ever seen that. If there has been a backdrop on the ring post, please comment in the comment section below and give me a heads up. But, pretty good match here. I like their chemistry. They have good chemistry. And they only have like a 9-minute match. Good match in 9 minutes? I'll take it. And, oh man. I'll get to this right before the main event stuff. So, Strowman beat Americo, basically a guy in an American outfit, like a luchador. Americo did not have a good answer, especially when Braun Strowman came out. Americo did not have an answer as to why he would face Braun Strowman. Got his ass kicked by Braun Strowman, got beat by Strowman, and Strowman, in turn, also took off Americo's mask, who was obviously not Mexican unless he is sporting a giant perm. He's got to do something about that haircut. Next, Stephanie McMahon and Paul Heyman had a segment, of Stephanie, quote unquote, admonishing what Lesnar did to Shane at SummerSlam. And Paul Heyman was actually pretty good here. He's like, I will pay the $500 fine myself. Took out a bunch of ones, wrapped up. He's like, 1, 2, 3, like almost like throwing money at her like she's a slut, like she's like a stripper or a slut. Which I actually found pretty funny. And of course, Stephanie slapped the money aside. It's actually a pretty good segment here. Paul Heyman apologized, but he apologized in like the most awesome way a person could apologize. Just watch the promo after the money thing. If you want the serious mode, serious Paul Heyman is the best Paul Heyman. Darren Young beat Titus O'Neil in a match that nobody gave two fucks about. After Titus O'Neil basically destroyed Darren, and then Darren got in with the crucifix and pinned him. After the match was over, Young and Bob Backlund celebrated. Titus O'Neil attacked Bob Backlund, really who was just in the way, but really attacked Darren Young. Got him to clash the Titus, and kept on saying, "You owe me, Darren, you owe me." If there's anything I will say I liked about this, I didn't give a shit about it. If there's anything I will say I liked about this, Titus O'Neil very roughly Irish whipped him into the corner, where he went over the rope. He actually hit a cameraman, or partially hit a cameraman, and broke his camera. That was awesome. Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley met up with Seth Rollins backstage. They announced that the tag team partners or friends or whatever, the various wrestlers in the main event, will not be at ringside in order to, dispose of any bullshit. So, no Chris Jericho, no Enzo Amore. Even if they did show up, no Dean Ambrose or the Usos. Seth Rollins, I guess, no J&J, even though J&J security's been gone for a year now. But anyway, so that's how it went. And next we had the main event, which was Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Big Cass. Before I get to the main event, I have to talk about this. WWE did a mighty fine tribute video. Because yesterday we lost legendary manager Mr. Fuji, who was 82 years old when he died. Mr. Fuji, for those of you who know, was the manager of various wrestlers over the years. He was once a wrestler himself, even in the WWE back in the 70s and 80s, in the early 80s. But, he was most known for being the manager of Yokozuna, who went on to become a two-time WWE champion. It's funny, and I have to say this. What was I going to say? Oh yes, I was gonna say that they mentioned that they showed footage of WrestleMania 9. Mr. Fuji threw salt at Bret Hart's face, and Yokozuna got the win on Bret Hart. What they did not show you is that a few seconds later, Yokozuna got beat by Hulk Hogan in the main event. Bullshit. And that actually reminds me of something earlier than that. I wanted to remind myself to say this, and I did remind myself. Earlier during the opening segment of the night, I loved it when Big Cass said that, he said, because, he's the underdog, sort of, in this match. He's the biggest dog, but he's also the underdog. And he told Seth Rollins that as much as Seth Rollins might not want to believe, size does matter. I laughed my ass off when I heard that, because when I first heard that, the first thing that came to mind was the Cesaro Schreiber, the leaked photos with him showing his thing, and Cesaro Schreiber showing nudity. And I just found that hilarious, because it's like size does matter, almost implicating the fact that Seth Rollins has a small dick. That was funny. But okay, back to the main event. But back to Mr. Fuji. Oh, not the main event yet, but Mr. Fuji, you will be missed. I'm glad that you got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Rest in peace, man. Main event was an elimination style fatal 4-way match. It was a 25 long minute match with 2 commercials in it, and the last 2 long. So Big Cass got eliminated about 12 minutes in when Roman Reigns, I think Roman Reigns hit the Superman punch, got knocked into the. Actually, no, he didn't get hit the Superman punch. What am I talking about? I just watched it like an hour ago. Kevin Owens. No, God, I'm sorry, guys, I'm being an idiot. Seth Rollins kicked Cass while he was on the knees. He super kicked Cass in the head, but then he got attacked by Roman Reigns. And then when all of that happened, Kevin Owens hit Big Cass with a full. What's wrong with my throat? Big Cass hit Kevin Owens with a full frog splash. So, and that eliminated Big Cass. I knew he was eliminated after that. Yeah. And then another 11 minutes went by. This was a great match. Even when Big Cass was in it, this was a great match. Best match of the night. Solid 4-star match. Go ahead and watch it. Now, the ending came when Roman Reigns had he super punched Seth Rollins in the outside. He super punched Kevin Owens in the outside. He speared Rollins in the outside. And then from behind came Triple H, who we have not seen since WrestleMania 32. He attacked Roman Reigns. He pedigreed him on the floor. He pushed him in the ring. He then whispered to Kevin Rollins saying, go and win, pin him. Pushed Rollins in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Reigns out of the match. So now we're down to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Triple H gets Owens in the ring. He looks like he's about to attack Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins comes walking up behind him, ready to take advantage. But then Triple H turns around, kicks Seth Rollins in the stomach, pedigrees him, and while he was about to pedigree him, he looked right at Kevin Owens like this, and nodded at him, and then his pedigree. Kevin Owens was in shock. He did not know that Triple H was going to come out there in the looks of it. And then after the pedigree, Kevin Owens went to Rollins. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens is your new Universal Champion. And I will admit, I gotta give WWE credit. They're taking the ball with the new guys and they're rolling with it. They're not going back to Seth Rollins. They're not going back to Roman Reigns. They're not going to an even older guy like Sheamus. Or, God forbid, they're going back to Triple H. Now they're going to a new guy relative to the main roster, which is Kevin Owens. And, good for Kevin Owens. The crowds cheered Kevin Owens when he won the title. And while they were supposed to be booing Kevin Owens, we heard chants that he deserved it, which totally, Kevin Owens deserves it. So, and my only fear is that and he walked out of the ring. Triple H did. He looked at Mick Foley with like a pissed off expression. He briefly looked at Stephanie and then he just walked away. Now, and Stephanie looked like she was completely shocked. Mick Foley looked pretty mad. And Kevin Owens, of course, celebrated with the title, with the usurp chance. Great episode of Raw. The past 4 to 5 weeks have been nothing but shit. Well, not shit, but they have not been good at all. But this was a great episode of Raw. I wonder what SmackDown's going to do to follow up. I don't see SmackDown winning this week. They won the past 3 to 4 weeks, but not this week. I don't think so. That's my early prediction. My only worry is that with him back, with Triple H back, the Authority will reign over Raw again. Because if you remember, the Authority, the stipulation for the Shane Undertaker match was that if Shane lost, the Authority would still be in power. Well, even though they were kind of took a hiatus with the whole Shane Stephanie thing, and then the brand split, Triple H back, I am afraid, deathly afraid, that Triple H is probably going to take Stephanie again or something like that, and the Authority will come back. The last thing we need is the Authority. We don't need this Authority bullshit once again. We got rid of them the last time at Survivor Series. that lasted a month and a week. That lasted 6 weeks, and that was fucking bullshit. And God, it really was bullshit. So now we have no authority again. Do not, for the love of God, WWE, do not bring back the authority. We don't need that shit anymore. This authority shit has got to stop. Enough of this authority bullshit. So that's it, guys. Great episode of Raw. Lots to be answered next week. So let's see what Kevin Owens does from here on in. Until next time, guys, with most likely either my WCW or my SmackDown reviews. I'll say next time, guys. Peace.